How we doing? What we doing?
We here early today, y'all. We here a little early today.
We are here real early. We are. Oh, sorry. That's me trying to share on Facebook while I have my phone. So excuse me. I'm trying to do technical stuff too at the same time.
And when I look to the right, I'm doing technical stuff too. But maybe y'all see me looking to the left. But when I go to the side, I'm sharing also.
Yes, so we're
I have a whole nother device on the side of me, and I'm doing stuff.
Yeah. So we're back again.
Production team.
Yeah, we the production team. We the production team. So we're back again on YouTube, Facebook. If you are on our YouTube channel, we need some subscribers, y'all. So like, share, subscribe. And join our Facebook page. There's a lot of candidates posting all their stuff on our Facebook page. We post information about Florida legislation. I just posted a link about the 149 bills that just passed as of not passed, but
that are effective July 1st.
July 1st. So I put a list on there so you guys can go for your perusal. It's important. There's a lot in there that affects us directly. So you may want to go check that out.
And when you read some of them, try not to laugh because it's serious, because they're laws for real. No, like you're reading and you be like, this gotta be a joke. No, it's real.
It's real.
That's what we got in Tallahassee, guys.
Tallahassee.
So we're back again. We're still doing our candidate series. We did most of the school board candidates. We did two commissioners, Broward County Commission candidates. And so we have a third Broward Commission candidate. We have Guithele Ruiz-Nicolas.
You got it.
Well, we have her. She is running for District 9 for Broward County Commission. Now, Broward County Commission is over all of Broward County, even though we have 31 cities and they have their own local government. But Broward is the top, so she's running for the top spot. And we are happy to have her here and talk a little bit about her campaign, why she's running, and what top three or what pressing issues does she feel that Broward County that she will be championing. If she is so privileged to get this position for District 9, and then give us a little bit of information on where District 9 and what areas encompass District 9. Co-host, introduce yourself.
All right, I'm Sandra Sheffield. I'm the other half.
Say my name. Say my name, girl.
That's my Nikki Pierre Grant. Okay, that's Mrs. Grant for y'all, the MRS, all that. I'm Sandra Sheffield, the other half of Race and the Races, and we're here to talk about all things race and politics. Our focus is on down ballot candidates because they're the ones that make decisions about your everyday life. And if you're living in Broward County, you want to have an input and know about the people that's going to represent you on the commission, because they're the ones that deal with the streets, the roads, make Broward County attractive for people to come and visit. They're responsible for promoting our county as the best county in the state of Florida, if not the United States, period.
Hello.
Right? So that's what they're here to do, and you want to make sure you put the right person in a position to do just that.
So we're going to go ahead and let our guest introduce herself. As she's introducing herself, we will then ask her a few questions about her campaign and her goals for Broward County. So go ahead, Ms. Nicolas.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. And to you, my two sisters, what a pleasure it is for me to be here with you. I have to tell you, I admire what you do. I feel so privileged to be here today, because last year, if you told me I'd be here, I'd say no. Mm-hmm. But here is why I am running. As you know, we've gone to, well, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Guithele Ruiz-Nicolas, and I am running for Broward County Commission District 9. As you know, we've gone through the redistricting process. Every 10 years we do that. So as a result, they've changed the map. The geographical boundaries have been changed. And I fall right in the middle of it. I said, this is the time for me. Why am I running? Well, let me tell you a little bit about me. I have been in Broward County since 1986. And when I came in, I saw the opportunity to really represent our people. When I say our people, I am of Haitian descent. And in 1986, I've seen the humiliation that our people had gone through as they were coming by boat. And I remember having a conversation with my father and he said, Guithele, they need a voice. Somebody needs to represent them. And he did not mean politics. He simply meant serving that community. So that's really how I got involved. From the very beginning, in 1989, I've been serving in different capacities as a community leader, working for the Urban League of Broward County. I have more than 30 years experience in government, in leadership positions, including, serving as a Haitian American Democratic Club president for several years, Hispanic Unity. I was a vice chair for Hispanic Unity for numerous years, the Red Cross, 211, a host of other organizations, because as I got more involved, I discovered my passion. And that passion is really to serve people. And you hear a lot of people say that, but for me, it's never been about Guithele. I took that statement that my father made that day. I felt he gave me a responsibility. Mm-hmm. So you learn to become responsible for your community by serving. And sometimes you even forget yourself. You forget your family because there's just so much to do. So that's one of the reasons why I am running. Secondly, when you look at District 9 is the most diverse district since they've remapped it. We have 54% African American, which consists of Haitian, Bahamian, Jamaican, 54%. Then you have 19% Hispanic, predominantly from the Caribbean as well. When you look at the Dominican Republic, you look at Cuba, Puerto Rico, they're all from the Caribbean. So we have a majority, 73% are from the Caribbean, right? Between the Hispanic and the African American, which I refer to as the Black and Brown community. And the remainder, we have 19% Caucasian, and then another 6%, which may be Asian American, people from India, from China, et cetera, et cetera. With this type of demographics, it requires a leader with the knowledge and the expertise in inclusion, in equity, as well as really ensuring that our community can work together. Because very often, and let me tell you, they've asked me that question so frequently, I hear there is tension between this community and the Haitian community. And you know what? There's no tension, I said. What happens? We're all the same. If you put a Jamaican and a Haitian together, guess what? The first thing they're going to see is our skin colors. Mm-hmm. We've got to learn to work together, and we've got to learn to be fair. We cannot hog the political arena just for one group. We've got to have that representation in every group. And I have seen it with the congressional race for District 20. We currently have Congresswoman Sheila McCormick on that seat, and you can see the work she's doing. She's not forgetting the Haitian American community. She's not forgetting the African American community. So I say that to basically reinforce the fact that we can represent our communities as a whole, but it takes someone special to truly understand the plight of the Haitian American community. So I believe I am that person.
All right.
All right.
So we had candidates running for commissioner, and one of the first questions we asked them is, what are their top 3 things that they would like to see implemented and or making it better or taken away that would benefit the Broward County?
Great question. I would like to preface by saying that I have worked for Broward County for many years. I was responsible for monitoring federal, state, and local legislation when it came to issues concerning the elderly, veterans, the disabled. So resources for that population or these population is very important because I'm sure you guys are faced with it. Our elderly population, the baby boomers, we are in large numbers in our community. We do not like to put our parents and our family in nursing homes. So it is important to look at resources to ensure they continue to grow old with dignity in an environment that they are familiar with and they can get love. So that's one of my issues. Second issue is housing. The crisis in housing is everyone's issue, but you cannot handle the pricing issues as we've done 2, 3, 4 years ago. You need creative solutions. Creative solution, fresh ideas, which is why I call my campaign, I have a new vision for Broward County, because it is not going to be the typical solutions that I bring. It is going to be out of the box, because as a staff member in government for 25 years, I've studied best practices throughout the world. And I have seen what other communities are doing to really ameliorate the housing crisis. So I am ready to hit the ground running when we begin to address this issue. And a third issue for me, obviously, it's a combination. We have the infrastructure bill that President Biden enacted in November of 2021. We're not hearing about it. I would say in previous years, Florida got billions of dollars. Now we're going to get trillions of dollars as part of the infrastructure bill, which is really, when you look at it, it can be used for transportation, it can be used for technology, it can be used for a host of things. So when that happens, what is going to happen to our minority and women-owned businesses? If we're not intentional where those dollars go, we will not see those dollars in our community. I've been in charge and I've developed the City of Hollywood's first minority and women-owned business. Till now, it is doing very well. So I want to see, the county does have a program, but in walking through the communities, in speaking with businesses, the information is not getting down to them. They are not getting the information of the opportunities that are available. So with that infrastructure bill and the amount of money that is going to come in, yes, we're going to take care of transportation because we got to take care of the environment, but also I want to be sure that we have jobs for the future, as well as the dollars are circulating in the African American Hispanic community. We've got to be intentional, otherwise it's not going to happen. And I pledge to ensure that those dollars get into our communities.
Awesome. So veterans, housing crisis, and infrastructure are your top three things that you're going to work on.
Is it elderly or veterans?
Oh, I'm sorry, elderly.
Well, no, I'm going to say elderly, veterans, the disabled, and the vulnerable population. When I say vulnerable population, it includes immigrants. It includes other type of people who usually are not, they are disenfranchised. Mm-hmm. So that's what I refer to as the vulnerable population.
Okay. So we had Odd Sakad, who was running for District 8, I believe.
That is correct.
Yes, she made a couple of comments about some things in Broward County that Chandra and I were like, wow, we didn't know about that. So she talked about transportation. You talked about transportation, logistics and high tech, with high tech. She talked about economic development. What are your thoughts on how Broward County is doing now as far as the economic development part, for instance, like with vocational programs? She also mentioned the housing crisis. I think that there was something that passed where they were giving people 60-day reprieve with rental assistance. How is that going now? And what are your goals should you get voted in? What are some of the things that you would try to get done, especially with monies? I believe that there was a Rescue Act of $678 million that Florida received. I'm not sure if Broward County has received any of those monies, but if they did, what's going on with that? And what would you do as a board member there to make sure that the right people get the right people get the money.
That's one thing, Nonique. 30% of the jobs that we currently have will no longer exist. For example, you have the electric cars. It's a whole industry. Who's going to build them? Who's going to repair them? Who's going to put the charging station and so forth? We're getting a little more environmentally friendly. At one point, we will not be using plastic. Many places are banning the use of plastic. So we have to prepare our workforce not for today's jobs, but for jobs of the future. In that regard, when you look at economic development, what makes us succeed in that area, it's obviously the businesses flourishing. But they cannot flourish if they do not have the right people to perform the functions for them to succeed. And we're experiencing that in so many industries, whether it's the technology industry, whether it's the healthcare, we do not have enough workers. So it's going to be preparing our workforce for the future and ensuring that the businesses are flourishing. So I think that's a top priority. The other priority, it was so interesting. I was driving along Oakland Park on 31st Avenue, right behind or right across from the flea market. There's a huge development. I decided to go in, take a look at the homes that were being built. I was flabbergasted. Guess what the lowest cost house was on 31st? In Oakland
I'm
Park.
afraid to ask. I'm afraid to.
$540,000, a little over $500,000 on Oakland Park and 31st Avenue. I am all for people living in beautiful homes. I am all for people elevating their standards. When you have a crisis, as we have now, because of the demand has surpassed the supply, my thought would have been, listen, we have this land, we are developing, we need to ensure that it addresses the crisis. Meaning, if you have 2 lots, instead of building 2 homes, let's build 3 homes. So you expand on the supply of the homes. Now, many of the houses in the area, it's an older community, beautiful community. There are some estate homes that probably were built in, I don't know, I want to say maybe in the 60s, in the 70s. Yes, they are beautiful homes, but the people who bought their home, they did not pay $500,000 for the homes. So next thing you know, developers is going to come in, buy everything that is to continue to build homes that are $500,000. What happens to our people? Where do they go?
So who? Not to interrupt, but so who's buying the homes? Because I know a little bit about mortgages. In order to buy a $500,000 home, you have to have a decent salary, right? Uh-huh. And I'm not sure folks in South Florida is making that kind of money. Right. I mean, I'm a professor. I won't qualify for a $500,000 mortgage based on my salary, like at all. Not even a little bit.
I won't either.
I can qualify for a $250,000 home with that salary, but I know it ain't gonna be one for $500,000. So one of the things that we have to think of, like I think that you should, I would like for you to talk about and explain is like who buying these $500,000 home? Because if you're surprised that a home on Oakland and 31st is going to be selling for $540,000, that suggests to me, and I could be wrong, that community doesn't necessarily have that type of income. At least historically, it doesn't have that type of income. So who is it that's buying? Who is it that's buying this house? And how do you make it affordable for the people that want to stay in that area?
And the second part to that question, Guithele, is that not only who is buying it, but who made the decision to build it. Well, not build it, but who made the decision of the going price for those
Well, the developers did that, so we have to ask, like, how did they acquire that land, and whether the county commission had anything to do with them being able to get the land to put that.
But there has to be some sort of conversation with the commission in order for them, because the commission is, I mean, in order for it to be in Broward, there has to be some sort of conversation with the local government, knowing how much these homes are going to be. That's just my thing.
Planning and zoning of most municipalities, they're very involved in those developments. The developer, and you know, you have places like New York City that is also very populated. But guess what? Whenever a developer is developing, they said a percentage of this development must go to people who are lower income individuals. There may be a process. Let's say 15% of those homes should go to people making, you know, who can afford $300,000. Obviously, you have a lot of teachers, you have a lot of firefighters who may not be able to buy $500,000 home, but part of that development should be set aside for that. But my thing is, it's really, we cannot be doing mega homes at this time when the supply is very low. $2,000, $2,500 square feet home. We all like to have those homes, but in that particular community, I think it's really important to look at your constituents. These are working class people. I would not want to drive them away. Now, what happens is you have people coming from Chicago. They might have sold their home $1 million in Chicago. They can come down here and afford a home for $500,000. But this is short-sighted. They're buying the homes there, but then down the road, the development is going to continue. They're going to buy areas where the older homes are to continue to build those larger homes and high-priced homes. That's where I am concerned. As a county commissioner, my first priority are the people. And I have to look at the constituents that I serve to ensure that I don't push them away, and to ensure that we're working together to build the community. You see what's happened on Sistrunk, have you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A lot of people were driven away because they wanted to build those high rises. And a high rise is not too bad because you're building up. You're still addressing the lack of supply because higher up you have more housing. My concern with that particular community, I think a nice home, 1,500 square feet is adequate. So use those 2 lots, you make 3 homes.
So I hear what you're saying, but I don't know if we're connecting, because my thing is not about like the price of the house, building a new house, all of that. Who could buy it? You know, because some Mr. Brown in the chat put that the average salary of an African American in the United States is $42,500. That in Florida is $48,000. Even if it's a 1,500 square foot house, who could buy it is what I'm saying, because the income for the prices of the properties that are being built right now does not match the kind of money that people make in South Florida. That's what I need. I kind of want you to talk more about. And I understand, like, you know, they might be setting aside 15%. Okay, so even if you're going to set aside 15% of the properties for people who are considered low income, and then that's like, that's
low income, and that's low income.
Okay, but even when you say low middle income, like, you know, that's discretionary to the people that's going to decide what they want to consider low income. Because if you're talking about people that can afford $500,000 home, they're making 6 figures in salary, right?
Exactly.
So a person that might be making $60,000 might be considered low income. But when the average salary is in the 40s, you still not addressing the majority of at least the people of color that's in that community. So how is it that we address that?
That's the problem that I have. That particular community, you've got to ensure you do not price out the people who already
well,
live.
you're going to price them out just with the taxes. Because my mom lives in Little Haiti, right? And, you know, they're trying to take back that neighborhood. And she used to pay $1,200 a year in taxes. Now it's almost $5,000, right? And when you're talking about elder, you know, you talk about, I don't know, my parents are considered baby boomers. They're in their 70s, right? You know, but, you know, if you're talking about a person that's on 70, that's getting a Social Security check and their taxes is $5,000, and the flood insurance and the wind and the hazard, and they're paying another $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 in insurance. There's no money there like that. That's all their Social Security, and they gotta hustle and get their kids to give them money every month in order for them to pay those types of expenses. So what are we doing for the folks who live in a smaller, older homes, who are there, who are on fixed incomes, and they can't even pay the taxes and insurance no more in that area? How is it that, what can the county commission do for them? I mean, the developers, that's a different conversation, because and those decisions were made far before you got on there, because if they're already building, that meant that the other county commissioners gave those folks permission and zone and whatever and allowed them to do that. What your task will be to like not let that happen moving forward. But what I think you'll be presented with is that you're going to have constituents who can't afford to pay the increase in taxes on their properties now, because it's $500,000 homes around the corner. So what, if anything, can a county commission do to address that?
What the county commission can do to address that,
right? I'm sorry, but go ahead.
That's okay. What the county commission can do to do that is basically, there is a program called the PACE program, where actually you're able to get dollars, whether it's to replace your windows, impact windows, to make the home a little more safe. The older homes, you don't have to pay to get those repairs done. Through the PACE program, you're paying 2% interest with the property taxes. It's through the property taxes that they're able to take. So what I'm saying, the property taxes that you are paying, you can put it in use and upgrade your home and ensure that it is well protected in case of a hurricane or a hazard. The other thing that
no, let's not move on. I'm sorry. But what I'm saying is that the people are probably not going to be able to pay their property taxes, because their house used to be worth $150,000 and now it's worth $400,000, and their property taxes went up and they're on a fixed income. What do we do for that? I mean, yes, they could get nice windows and stuff, but what are they going to do to pay for them taxes that are now unaffordable because somebody allowed them to get $500,000 houses around the corner?
And this is where I am with you, Sandra. Listen to me. When people cannot afford it anymore, they move away. Mm-hmm. This is when gentrification begins. Mm-hmm. This is what we're seeing in Little Haiti, and that's my concern. We've got to be able to protect our constituents so that, you know, unfortunately, there's not much we can do about the insurance. Right. Every election has consequences. We've elected a governor who's really letting the insurance industry really play with the homeowners. He's not doing anything to kind of curtail the type of increases we've seen. So that's really a little bit out of the question. So you're looking at local programs for people with older homes. Yes, if you're not paying to upgrade the home and add value to it, it's a good thing. If you can get the necessary at the city at no cost to you, whether it's to repaint, to re-landscape, that's a good thing. The bottom line is we are building high-end homes in an area where working people are. Ultimately, we're pushing them out.
So you're saying basically what the Broward County Commission can do is just promote and push these local programs, even though we can't help the constituents in terms of the insurance, because that's on a state level. But at a local level, all they do have is just programs to either update their homes, make it more, more profitable. Affordable in terms of, I don't know if it's affordable, because now you have houses at $540,000, which basically drives the homes up for the other area, for the within the area. So even if, like Sandra said, 150 now is worth $400,000, you're basically like, now we're pushing people who are robbing Peter to pay Paul, and you know what I mean by that. Having to either pull out extra loans out of their homes, further putting them in debt. And that's the only way when you really think about it, Sandra. If your house was 150, now it's 400, and your taxes are up, so you would have to get a secondary mortgage, or if you are mortgage free, now you would have to pull the equity out of your home in order to just float. And so the Broward County Commission, is there anything they can do? Is there any kind of policies or any kind of something that they can do to kind of help homeowners not be in that particular position?
The housing crisis is one. Obviously, you have the county and you have the municipalities.
Yes.
They have jurisdiction over their area, and you cannot tell the cities what to do. However, you can work with the municipalities. You can create an alliance where we develop a memorandum of understanding stating these are the guidelines. Let's try all to work to ensure that, we're not pushing people out. So I think many of the cities are feeling the crunch of the housing crisis, but the county can take the lead and say, okay, let's find a coalition of people from municipalities. Let's work with the league, the League of Cities. Let's work with that entity and come up with a program where it is a lot more affordable for working people. So you've got to really, with everything you have to negotiate. Mm-hmm. With everything you have to think out of the box. We cannot tell you what to do, but let's find a way to work together and come to an understanding we're going to protect those who are not making the six figures.
It's tough.
It is tough. I feel like there's no way out of that. Like we're just done. I don't know. Mayor Zaid, who is in North Lauderdale, she stated that in the chat, seniors give up their insurance to make ends meet, but they can't apply for grant money because you have to have insurance. It's like it's this domino effect. Yes. Of just keeping people in a space, not even keeping, because they can't even afford to stay. They just can't afford to stay. And I'm hoping that if you do win, and when I win, that you're able to get your colleagues to kind of really deal with an issue like that, because it's not, while you can't tell the other municipalities what to do, but like you said, you can lead the charge on trying to get them to help alleviate some people and the debt that they're in.
And then I think it's very important to really be considerate of who is being elected on the commissions, right? Because when they agree to give a developer a land to put $500,000 homes on that community, I'm not saying that it's not good for the city to have like an increased tax base and on and on and on and on. However, it's really like, that's like the county allowing gentrification to take place. They're like, you know what? We're sick of these, we're tired or whatever of these poor people, and that's the way to get them to go, because the numbers are not going to make sense and you're not going to be able to stay. You either leave now or you leave later, but basically you going to go, right? It's a municipality. It's unfortunate. It's a municipality, county, whoever's going to take the responsibility for it. But I think it's a combination of all of them folks working together to allow something like that to happen in the first place. You know what I mean? And even when they have, like, I have a friend who does like housing, right? And when she's supposed to do like affordable housing, but then corporations have taken over that whole builders and companies has taken over this affordable housing. So they build these complexes and they're based on income and sliding scales or whatever. So it's really supposed to be for low income folks. But then the developers are the one that's ended up getting all of the government money, the government funding, to build their to build these complexes.
That's why,
without having to spend their own money. And then they can go and build, then they're going to get permission to go build places with $550,000 homes on there.
It's the privilege for me. It is the privilege for
wild.
I want to say two things about the housing issue.
Yes.
When you look at the Sadowski Fund that is in Tallahassee, those funds are set aside specifically for affordable and workforce housing. Our governor is using that money for other of his priorities. So again, we have these millions of dollars at the state level that local government is not seeing. The second thing that I want to say about the housing thing is that very often, and my concern is that gentrification. Lauderdale Lakes, when you look at it, Lauderhill, there is such a high base of Caribbean people. We're not making a lot more money. Somebody has to be able to protect them and really stand up to the developers. I don't owe anybody anything. I am not in the pocket of any big business or anyone. So my term as a county commissioner is going to be for the people that I represent. Special interest.
Pay attention to that, y'all, because there's somebody in one of the other races. Like that's the only people that's donating to the campaign is the developers. So
I don't owe
that,
anyone.
but I didn't say that. Okay.
I don't owe anyone, and again, I sincerely mean that. I am in this for the people. I am in this because I want to improve lives. The people in District 9, they are the perfect people that I've worked with all my life. Improve their life. Sandra, you know that with Broward Up. Improve their life through education. I've built businesses through minority-owned businesses. I've helped other people succeed, whether it's workforce, making sure we're promoting women, minorities. That's what I've done all my life. So as a county commissioner for District 9, I want to apply those practices and improve the lives of the people that I represent.
Okay.
Yeah, it's important. It's important.
You got a question?
No, go ahead. Ask your question.
Okay, so one of the things that, as a county commissioner, that you got to sell Broward County to the rest of the world. So why should someone come to Broward County? How would you sell Broward County to the rest of the world so we can get tourist dollars and maybe y'all have some money to help these people pay their taxes? That's
an easy one for me.
How do you sell Broward County to the rest of the world without making the residents of Broward County have to leave because everybody trying to stay? How do you do that?
That's an easy one for me because when you look at it, I came to Broward County in 1986. There was nothing. From New York to Florida, it was a culture shock for me. We now have a county that is vibrant. We have the culture, we have the restaurants, we have the theaters, we have the cruises, we have airport from all over, we have airlines coming from all over. So it really is a destination where you live in paradise all year round. In order to enhance that, there's always room for improvement, right? I love it here. I love the climate. I will not go anywhere else. We've got to attract businesses. I think the county, some of the cities have done very well. I have to say the city of Sunrise done an amazing job in terms of attracting big businesses. You know, Motorola, they have a high-tech area where you have a lot of companies that are high-tech there. When you attract the businesses, when you prepare your workforce to work for those businesses, those are the great combinations that makes everybody want to come there because your tax base increases and you continue to build on what you have. So I think we have a little paradise here in Broward County. If I were to do anything better or if I were to do more, I would attract so much more businesses because they're bringing in dollars and they're employing our people. So with that, you have the monies flowing through the communities and everybody prospers.
I like that.
Businesses that are high paying jobs.
Well, you know that $15 an hour. Oh, don't get me on that.
Because they're like, yeah, we got a job for y'all. Y'all can make $10 and still can't afford to live here.
Well, by 2026, everybody's going to have to pay their employees $15. And a lot of them, they've already implemented the $15 an hour. But if we do not take control of the housing situation, that $15 an hour doesn't mean a thing. But if you train people, you know, I hate to say this because you guys, your parents, you tell your children, you go to college, you get an education, you do all of that. I still say yes. But what I have recognized is that not everyone is bound for college.
Right.
We've got to look at rapid certification where in a year, in 6 months, people get the competencies in a particular profession so that they could make the $20 per hour.
Or become an entrepreneur.
That's it, or an entrepreneur. So I think we've got to kind of shift our paradigms as a community and not think less of those who do not want to go for a 4-year college degree. There are so many technical and other types of jobs for the future that we have to look at. Let me tell you, an electrician is probably making anywhere between $125,000 or more.
Sandra was just talking about someone.
He made $375 in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, and then the plumber. I mean, I'm just telling you, these are great professions. These are professions that will always be needed in our community. These are professions that are honorable. There's electricians and plumbers making way more than attorneys that we know.
Oh yeah, they make more than me. I know they're making more than me for sure.
Way more. I mean, there's
my truck driver clients that just got a work permit making more money than me right now.
I mean, I've been having leaks at my house. I've had to have a roofer come over. These roofers are making tons of money, but it's not about, to me, it's not about the profession so much so as it is about the earning potential. And if we can have people get certified, as you said, and rapid certification, as you said, you get people to start working right away. And that's
exactly. And I have to tell you that school have to do a better job. We've got to, before someone undertakes a career or a profession, let's really see what that person loves. If they love what they do, they're going to succeed. Absolutely. And I have to tell you, we at Broward College, we do a lot of career assessment before we put people in different careers. Because when they love it, it's not going to be work. And they're going to succeed from the education and all. So I think there's a conversation to have in our communities, in our high school, to really make sure that people get skills. Yes. It's the skills we're looking for. We're not looking for the degrees, the PhD, the MBAs, and it's good if that's what the young adult wants to do.
And they can go to college and have a skill too. So like when I went to college many, many years ago, I went to a predominantly white institution. And I had hair drama, right? So it was like, yeah, who's gonna do my hair? So I used to have to wait till I come home, get my braids in, keep them in my hair for 3 months until I go back. So even like in high school, even like these young ladies who want to go to college, they should get a cosmetology certificate and learn how to do hair. Because another one of and I told a friend of mine this story. I told him this, and his daughter goes to school in Alabama, and she does hair, and she stay busy, right? So she makes like a ton of money, like doing hair. So he has to tell her, like, listen, girl, you went there to get a degree too. You didn't go there to open up a beauty salon, but she just may be able to do that. So even when we talk about skills, you could have the person who is going to college learn a skill that they can use to earn money or do whatever while they're in school. And if you, a sister, and you going to school in Iowa and Ohio, learn how to braid some hair before you go, because you will stay busy. I'm telling you.
That is funny.
That is real life.
That's an area I really want everyone to keep in mind, looking at the jobs of the future. And I love the idea when we tell our children, you can be your own boss.
Yes.
But you have to learn how to the accounting. You have to learn how to do this so that even if you have somebody working for you, you still know when they're doing right and when they're doing wrong. So I think that generation, let's kind of push them and get them to where they need to be in 2030, 2040, not for today.
Yes. So we have Mr. Brown, who's thank you for coming and joining us, Mr. Brown. He says high school should bring back those programs, plumbing, automotive, electric, etc., as electives again. And he's right. We do have technical schools, and we do have other schools that Broward County provides. I think there's 5 or 4 of them. But we still believe that it should be reintroduced back into
as an elective as part of the curriculum, as an elective.
It should be reintroduced in elementary school and high school. And I know that Mayor Zayed was on when we were talking to her, and she was saying that she does have monthly or weekly, I can't remember, talks with the school board. Is that something the Broward Commission can do? Is maybe get involved in that and see how how they can help to allow something like that to happen again in the schools?
Obviously the curriculum is really governed by the state of Florida.
Right.
Everything is at the state level. However, I think a lot of this is where you have strategic alliances. Mm-hmm. When you have strategic alliances from the school board, from the faith-based community, as well as, could be the municipalities. One of the programs I implemented in Hollywood, it's called Building the Community from the Inside Out. And you look at your community, you do asset mapping. Asset mapping, what are the assets? You have a school, you have a couple of churches, you have a big company. So those are the assets you put together to really solve the problems of the community collectively. That's something I would love to see how it works in District 9, because District 9 is a perfect community for that sort of thing. We've got to look at working collectively. The county alone cannot take care of the problems. But as I mentioned, when you develop strategic alliances, when you begin to put together advisory committees to get your citizens involved, then everybody's a stakeholder. Everybody is buying into what you're doing. So I think governance is necessary when you have your citizens involved.
So my final question before I give it off to Sandra, while you talked about District 9. So number one, tell us what cities encompass District 9. And number two, tell us how that works from the Broward Commission and how it works with the other municipalities, and what's the hierarchy and what does that look like?
Obviously, the county consists of several municipalities. Part of Plantation, Sunrise, Lauderhill, Lauderdale Lakes, a little bit of Oakland Park, a little bit of Fort Lauderdale, and unincorporated Broward. There are about maybe, 130,000 households in that area. So how do we work together? I'll give you an example. When I worked for the county, one of the things that we really got very involved with, issues related to homelessness. We really, we work with the municipalities on that. We have at least millions of dollars that are allocated for nonprofit organizations. The county cannot offer services in certain areas, so it either goes to nonprofit in the communities that I've mentioned, or to target certain types of population. For example, we have let me just take one. I'll take affordable housing. Community Action Agency. Community Action Agency provides social service assistance to residents. For example, if your light is being cut because you can't pay it, if you don't have training, that department or that division of the county work with residents. So for me, the residents in my district, I will want to know how many individuals in my district have benefited from those programs. How many businesses in my district, in those cities, have really participated in different types of activities. So each municipality is responsible for their own, but the county, we provide the necessary resources and we work collaboratively with the municipalities that we represent. For example, I can work with my state representative. The state representative for District 90 something, which also is part of Broward County District 9. I can tell my state representative and work with, I'll take Lauderhill, for example. Lauderhill said this is a problem they have. Let's see how much money we can get at the state level to help them handle that. So when you look at government, of course, you have things coming at the federal level. I will work very closely with my state representatives that really oversee these municipalities to get resources at the state level. And at the local level at Broward County, I have to see what the needs are in each of these communities. So when the county is giving money, when the county is doing new programs, we ensure that our constituents in District 9 benefit.
All right. So I like that. And so the other thing is transportation, like
Oh,
public transportation. And I mean, even when you have a car, it's rough. Get
tell
around.
you.
Even when you have a car, it's like, wait, what? The gas
You want
high.
to hear something
Everything's
funny?
car. What about public? What we going? How we gonna make this better?
Let me tell you, I did Leadership Broward in 1998. Probably some of you were just teenagers or just
I was
recently.
all the way grown.
1998. Okay. The the project that they say, what would you improve in Broward County? Transportation was the topic.
Mm.
Look at where we are, 2022. There is not a lot of changes. Yes, we've seen highways built. 595, I don't think existed.
They're making my main street wider. They're adding extra lanes, and
And
by the
that's not
time
what
they
we
add the
want.
extra lane, the traffic is already too much for the extra lane. So they're making those streets wider, cutting
There
out
is
some of the grass and making the
there
streets
is an
wider.
opportunity. There is an opportunity. Definitely, I agree with you. We don't want a system, we don't want roads to move cars. We need a system to move people, meaning that you've got to increase the number of express buses. If I work downtown, I ought to be able to take an express bus and in 40 minutes be at work where I can leave my
There's
car.
no express bus to downtown Fort Lauderdale. There's an express bus to downtown Miami, where I'm from. But
Well,
I don't think you could. I don't think there's an express. I don't even know how you would get to downtown Fort Lauderdale from here. But they do have an express bus that goes to Miami.
so if it can be done in Miami, why can't it be done
No.
in Broward?
It leaves Broward and go to Miami-Dade because
Oh, I know that.
Yeah.
We need to look at from west to east. We've built close to the Everglades.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people leave downtown. So every half hour, every 40 minutes, there should be an express bus on Commercial Boulevard, on Sunrise Boulevard, on Broward Boulevard. You know, I'm talking about my district.
Yeah.
There should be express buses going from west to east, east to west, and south to north, north to south. That can be done. We're buying a lot of electrical buses, but we have to look at the routes. The other thing is light rail trains. I grew up in a subway, by the way. Went to school, did everything in the subway. And let me tell you, so when I'm working full-time, going to school full-time, I'm in that subway, either studying or sleeping. We don't have that luxury. People are tense because it takes me almost an hour in the morning from Plantation to downtown because of the traffic.
Yeah.
So express buses, light rail trains. We have Brightline and Amtrak going south to north, north to south. We don't have anything going from west to east, east to west. So we've got to look at the lay of the land. We've got to look at where the population is. My district, let me tell you, I am sure a lot of people lose their jobs because they don't have reliable cars.
And
if they don't have reliable cars, we've got to give them a way to really, get to work or get around to the childcare place. So transportation is an easy thing for me. You have Seattle, you have you have San Francisco, there are different modes of transport that we've got to look at. So
yeah. And that's a real thing because we actually a friend of mine is doing this case, and we have a client that has an immigration issue, and he got arrested because he fell asleep at the bus stop. But the reason why that happens, but this is what really happened. So he left work late, and the buses stopped running at a certain time, right? In the county. So he stopped running at a certain time, and they don't start again until like 5 or 6 in the morning. So he got stuck in that in-between time. He started trying to walk home, which was probably like 15, 20 miles or something like that. He got tired, so he sat at the bus stop trying to rest, but in the meantime fell asleep. And then the police drives by and then he gets arrested like he's some homeless guy sleeping. He's trying to explain what's going on and they don't want to hear it. So, and I mean, not everybody's able to have Lyft and all that. And actually, I think his phone died or something like that. So he couldn't even like call a Lyft to like get home. So it's a combination of a whole bunch of things that happen. But that's why I asked about the transportation. Something needs to give. I mean, are we a city that needs to have transportation running all night long? I don't know, but there are a lot of people that work overnight. There are a lot of jobs where they have these, people get off if they're closing. They may get off at 1, 2 in the morning. And if they're relying on a bus or something, there's no bus. And buses are cheaper than Lyft and Uber and all of that. And I'm not bad mouthing any of those companies or anything, but not everybody's able to afford it. So, considering we are a city where people do work overnight and there are things to do, throughout, transportation is something that I would hope,
we've got to do better.
Progress on.
We've got to do better, and we've got to change our mindset. It's not using the money to fix the roads or widen the roads or to put right-of-ways or they call that circular thing. I forgot. They're beautifying, but we've got to focus on how to move the people, the population we have in Broward County. How do we efficiently move them around to be productive citizens, being able to work? So that's going to be a little pet project of mine, because like I said, 1998, I said that's the one thing I hated. And we're still struggling. I think right now with the infrastructure bill, the county, there is someone that I know she's very effective, very competent, working on the MPO, which is the mobility something at the county. So they're looking at all of these things. But I think we are one of those counties. We've got to look at several modes of the share ride does not work. That was one of the things they've done to alleviate the traffic. It doesn't work. I don't want to park my car somewhere and somebody picks me up. And no, I don't want to do that during lunchtime.
Especially if you have little kids, you have an emergency, how are you going to get to school? And there's no express bus in the middle of the afternoon. So there's a lot of things that people take into consideration. And then everybody has a car. Like I live in a neighborhood, and I'm telling you, there's a couple houses. There's 6 cars parked in front of the house. Like 6. Like, all y'all need a car?
All of them need a car because they're all going to places.
Parked in front of the house. And I'm like, oh my God.
Everybody need a car. Everybody
need a car.
Yeah, when you have young adults, I have 2 extra cars in my house because I have a 21-year-old and I have a 23-year-old living with me, and they have to get to work. They have to get to school.
So if we had a good public transportation system, there wouldn't need to be 4 cars at their house.
And we could deal with the environment better if we have less vehicles on the road.
I'm telling you.
That's all I'm saying.
And it's on average, it's 3 cars parked in front of, like, on average, the average driveway has like 3 cars. There's a couple of houses, like I said, got 6. I'm like, 6 cars? My God.
Everybody got
well, that's a big thing. And we have the dollars for it, by the way. We have the dollars with the infrastructure bill. The dollars are there, which is why, again, I'm saying some of those minority-owned companies, they really need to jump on the wagon and see how they can benefit from this aspect of the economic.
So what you're going to do when you get on the commission, you're going to like make it public information. Tell these people like, listen, if you got this kind of business, there's this grant out here in these streets, apply for it.
Girl.
No one knows. Like people don't know.
We need that.
Look and find out.
Commissioner. We need a transparent commissioner. We need somebody.
Let the people know there's money out here.
There's money. There's some money.
Go get it.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I think that's an area where the county can improve. The county is doing a lot of good things. And it's not that they don't communicate. It's the fact that they don't know how to reach different audiences. For example.
That shouldn't be hard.
But listen,
okay.
Translating things in Creole, does that mean Creole speaking people going to get the information? Some of them, I don't read Creole, by the way.
I do. It's phonetic.
But here is what it is. We listen to the radio. We get our information on the radio. Hispanics they're not going to read it. Hispanics, when they watch their novellas, it's television. Young people, it's social media.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You target your audience and you communicate the most effective way that you know the information is going to get. The other thing I truly believe, one of the things I'm looking forward to, I want to be in the communities that I represent. So every month I will rotate a meeting with Commissioner Guithele Ruiz-Nicolas. I'll do one in Plantation, maybe either an evening or a Saturday morning. I'll do one in Sunrise. And we would have a calendar where if you miss Plantation, you can come to Sunrise. I think you always have to have the pulse of your community, and I will be accessible and available to my constituents.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Thank
So
you.
tell the people how you can be reached, where they can go to volunteer, where they can go donate, because we're still, we still like about a month away, and still have enough time to, get some funds so you can do, get some damage being done out here in these streets. So
let me tell you. Well, first of all, I really thank those who've contributed. Running a grassroots campaign has not been easy, but everybody says, Guithele, you're doing okay with the money that you're raising, because I don't have lobbyists, I don't have big businesses giving me. But as you know, political campaigns do not happen without funds.
Mm-hmm.
So the financial resources are extremely important. And I continue to struggle with that. The second resource that I need are the human resources.
Mm-hmm.
I need volunteers to make calls, to help me put signs in their neighborhood, to really to make and canvas. We go knocking on doors. Tomorrow I have a group. We're going to knock on doors. So people may think, oh, I don't have the money. But listen, $20. Imagine if I get $1,020.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
$1,020. It's a lot of money.
Give up that Starbucks money. Give up that Starbucks coffee money.
Yeah,
right?
She needs it.
Starbucks.
Yes,
Give up your
cup of coffee. Give Guithele that cup of coffee.
That cup of coffee, that 1 week may not kill you. Even if I have to buy you, say, hey, I have to have my coffee.
I will buy a bag of
Bustelo.
I'll give you a bag of chai tea. Just you get that hot water. Just buy a box of tea and do that for like a week. It's cheaper.
It is
a chai tea bag.
I'm in dire need of both human resources as well as financial resources, and it's very easy for people to do both. They can donate online and sign up for volunteering online. It's www.voteguithele.com, which is VOTEGUITHELE. My name is on the screen, so it's votemyfirstname.com. So I am desperately in need of the assistance. So I am urging you guys, invest in me. I am the best candidate for this job, not only because of the unique combination of skill sets that I bring to the table. I know the county. I've worked for the county. Everything as I mentioned as my top priorities, they are low-hanging fruits for me because I know who to go to, I know the system, and I can make them happen. So with that said, I'm looking forward to serving you. That's my passion. And then let's make history.
Let's make history. Okay, so if you want to if you want to vote during the primary, July the 25th is the last day to register to vote in order for you to vote on the primary, which is August 23rd, 2022. August 13 is the deadline to request your vote by mail ballot, and it's also the day that early voting starts. Okay, so last day to request your vote by mail is August 13, and early voting starts that day. You can early vote up until August the 21st. And then early voting is August the 23rd. That's the election day for the primaries is August the 23rd, and that's the last day you can vote for Guithele. So we need you to start voting as soon as you get your ballots, or at least go on August 13th and start early voting up until the 21st. And on August the 23rd is the last day you can vote for Guithele.
And Guithele, what position are you on the ballot?
When you say what position, there are 2 opponents.
Right. Yeah. Where does your name
come? Number 1, 2, or 3, or are you not sure?
I'm not sure. I don't want to say the wrong number, but they come. You have your judiciary candidates. Obviously the congressional.
Well, no, just for your place, because we'll just say, vote for Guithele. She's number 3 in her division.
No, just vote Guithele, District 9. Let's just remember District 9.
District 9 Guithele. Remember District 9.
You got the hyphenated name Ruiz-Nicolas.
Ruiz-Nicolas. That's correct. And again, ladies, I am so thankful to you for giving me the opportunity to really talk on your platform. You're passionate. I am passionate. So I have to tell you, I've enjoyed my time with you. And also, I'm hoping that the people who've listened really kind of put themselves out there.
July 25th, Nikki.
Oh, I figured it was something wrong. Okay, go ahead.
July 25th?
No, July 25th is the last day to register. It was a little bit of a typo.
Oh, okay. Yes. So I tell people, you vote early.
Mm-hmm.
Do not wait for the 23rd.
Nope.
They have made voting much harder than it was from the previous time. So the reason why I say vote early, when you vote early, you don't have to go to your specific district. Or your precinct, I should say. When you vote on election day, you have to go to your precinct. Many precincts have changed. To avoid that problem, vote early.
And it also, when you vote early too, it also helps the candidates. And I'm not saying that you have someone that's paying attention, and you may have someone that's paying attention to where most people are voting, where you need to put your resources. So it all helps, right? So they'll know what voting locations do you need to make sure folks are there or folks aren't there. So it helps the candidate to see, what are the high traffic areas, what are the times that people are voting mostly, so they can help them with, where to put their volunteers on any given day. And it's important for them to have volunteers at all of the locations. So that's why if you don't have money, they want your time, because I've said this before. There was a candidate that I voted for in 2020. I voted for them because they were at the voting location when I went to vote. I was in between 2 candidates. They showed up. I got a chance to speak to them. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to vote for you. And I ended up voting for them. And I might have voted anyway, but that really solidified my decision to make that vote that day, because they were there and they had representatives there with them. So volunteer your time if you don't have money.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Guithele, we wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you.
Primaries, early voting starts August 13th, runs through, I think it's only 10 days this time.
The 21st.
And then the 23rd is the actual voting day at your specific precinct. Okay, so remember that. All right.
And you're Guithele Ruiz-Nicolas on all social media, right?
Yes.
That is correct. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. The best way to get information is through my website. They could see what I've done. And now that the endorsements are coming in, so they'll see who've endorsed me.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Appreciate you.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. That was good.
That was very good. We got caught up on that housing though for about 30 minutes.
that housing is a doozy, honey.
Yeah, it's a doozy. 540,000 in what used to be the hood. Like, are you kidding me?
What the problem is that who allowed? Why? I know that they had to be part of this conversation. How you was okay with letting these people
$500,000 house? Who got that job? Who has that job that they got? $500,000 mortgage. Who got that job?
I think that's criminal. I really feel like that's criminal. That's criminal.
Yeah.
Who does that?
Yes, I didn't mean for us to get stuck on that, but I'm just like, and when you have that problem, you do increase the tax base of everybody else around you. Yes, some people are happy that their value went up, but if you are on a fixed income and you've been in your house 30, 40 years, and now all of a sudden your taxes go from $1,000 to $7,000, that's a whole problem, I
feel like that was deliberate. That was deliberate.
Yeah.
And my thing is,
it could be by design, but so we did get kind of stuck on that, but it's an important conversation.
Yeah, I don't think that it's fair for those group of people who cannot, the bottom line is
can't afford it. People are losing their houses over taxes and insurance. It's crazy.
Ridiculous. I mean, like for me, for instance, I have to pay out of pocket to do my roof over because for fear if I use my insurance company, they're going to drop me. They've been dropping people left, right, and center. And the governor is allowing this foolery to go on. People are literally living from paycheck to paycheck. Literally. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it's tough. I'm telling you, it's tough.
It doesn't make any sense to me. I think any person, any candidate right now who's running for an elected position have a great deal of work ahead of them to really come to the aid of the people. And I feel like those who are looking to who are going to vote, you need to really look at these candidates and make sure that they're coming to do the will of the people, not that of developers, and not career politicians, because there's people who've been elected officials for years in different places and they're moving around, and it gives the appearance that they're there for the people, but they're not really doing the people's work. And so you really need to look at your candidates, really see what they've done, look at their track record, and then look at their track record not in the general sense, but look at what they've been doing stuff that doesn't get that's not that widely published, but the information is there, because that makes a material difference between a candidate who is for the people and is going to listen to the people versus a candidate who's been in the business and yes, politics is a business, who's been in the business and is just basically doing whatever. And they were like, yeah, we hear you. And then makes it look like they're hearing you. And then they do the opposite, just like what
they're doing what they want, right? Or they're only addressing the needs of a small segment of the population.
Yes. It's the same thing with the school board when they made a decision knowing that there was dissenting voices, people were complaining, and still voted against the people. Like that's the problem. So people like that don't deserve to keep their jobs. This is why it's so important that people are politically participating politically, making sure they vote, and they vote consciously. Don't vote the popular candidate. Vote for the candidate that that you feel based on what you're seeing and what you're talking to and having a conversation with them, because most of these candidates are available to talk to. They make it clear that you can call.
And the ones that aren't available, you need to wonder why.
You need to wonder why, because the ones that put out their phone numbers and tell you to call them directly and put out all their information and their response to emails or whatever, those are the ones you need to pay attention to. The other ones that don't give any information,
dodging folks, you need to know why they don't want to say nothing.
I'm just saying.
They take your vote for granted.
Absolutely. And also those who play dirty politics, they ain't no better either, because I feel like if you are a good candidate, you don't need to dim the light of your opponent.
To win. You should be able to win on your own, especially if you've been a politician for a while. Like, you done had some jobs. You should be able to win on the strength of what you've done with the positions of power that you've had.
When I see a flyer,
somebody else.
When I see a flyer or an email that comes through and it's bashing the other candidate, I don't even look at you no more.
Without even highlighting their efforts. Like there was no, they didn't talk about, okay, this is what I did and this is what the other person did. Right. They're just trying to it's a little bit it's not misrepresented, it's a little misleading. They mislead you about what another candidate did, and that's not okay either.
Anytime
highlight what you've done as opposed to worry about
and there's a few of those candidates that are out there putting out negative advertisements about their opponent. And to me, you don't need negativity. If you about it and you about to smoke and you about all your jobs and you know what you're doing or whatever, you don't need to even do that.
Just talk about all the great things you've done, and that should be enough.
That should be enough. I get turned off by candidates that behave like that. And it happens every cycle, and every time I see it, I'm like, oh, so you ain't the one for me. Because if you got to bash this other person so you could look good, you're not here about the people. You about you on some other stuff. Because I feel like anybody who's about the people will talk about what the people need, what's causing the people pain, how they can help them through it, and work collaboratively with
them. And if you've had a position before, you should be able to tell the people what you done did. You know what I mean? And you should be able to run on your record.
Your record should
run on your record.
Your record should speak for itself. You don't need to be out here bashing people, and that's not a good look. For the candidates that are doing it, that's not a good look. Just letting you know, we're not gonna call out
unless you don't have one to run on, which you should, because you done had some jobs already.
I'm just saying, it's not a good look. Boo boo.
It ain't cute.
It's not a good look. I'm just saying. That's ugly. And we don't do ugly around here. What we do is we try to tell people what's going on, what they need to pay attention to. And please visit our page again on Facebook. I put the link in about the 149 bills that became effective in July 1st. Listen, don't read the whole thing because some of them give you a small description of what it is. I implore you, go read some of them because I'm telling you, it affects you directly. And y'all don't know what's out there. Although some of these,
I said, try not to laugh because it's serious.
I'm just saying some of these bills will be challenged legally because there's some
because they're so ridiculous.
But I'm telling you, some of it is just straight ridiculousnly. I just heard today, I was on one of the councils on one of the organizations I'm affiliated with, where they passed a new law where now judges can hold. I think that they've always done that, but there's some constitutionality with that, where they can hold a juvenile until their court date. If the court date is 6 months away, that juvenile staying in that juvenile detention center for 6 months. Parents
have to have a reason for that, though. They have to have a reason for that.
There's a new law, and it would appear that the law is flawed somehow. But I'm just saying that just came into effect in July.
Yeah.
People need to know this because our babies are the ones who are getting arrested for prowling, arrested for all this unnecessary foolishness that they had stopped doing and now they're picking it up again. I mean, it's important. You know what I mean? So please, if you all have an opportunity, go on there, take a look, and look through some things or whatever. There's like housing bills in there that's messing up people. I can't even know what you call it. Anyway, if you haven't had an opportunity to look at the January 6th, what is it? Is it the trial? What is it? The
January 6th committee. You know, they're doing the hearings. They're having the hearings. The January 6th committee.
If you haven't had a chance to see it, y'all just need to go in.
Let me tell you something.
Y'all need to go see it, okay? Because I'm just
pick an episode. They've had 7. Just pick one.
Pick one. It don't matter which one you pick.
Listen, just pick one and watch one. Like watch the if you watch the last one,
I'm just saying. I don't understand how someone like that can get away with something and me and you can go to jail for looking at a police officer.
And the thing about it is, it's like people keep saving him from himself. They keep saving him from himself, and he just don't. No, something needs to be done. Like this. Like we. Oh my God.
Listen, you know what? He makes what you call it look good.
Richard Nixon.
Yes,
absolutely.
He makes it look good.
This is far more. Watergate was nothing.
Does not compare.
Watergate was not. Look, that dude straight up tried to have a coup d'état. Period. Like
point.
Period. That was straight up trying to overthrow the that. Listen, that ain't nothing else but that.
Just a whole. I mean, when I tell you, like,
that was an attempted coup d'état. Period.
Let me say something. Haitian people know about coup d'état. We know about all that in Haiti, honey.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he was trying to do. At
He's
least
trying to overthrow the government. Period.
Listen.
Period. Like they know.
Hearing
maybe yes, kind of, sorta, and there was other folks that stopped him from doing that. And to me, it's unfortunate. It's now that they're telling, like, they should have said something sooner. You know what I mean? Because but listen, that dude straight up tried to overthrow the government.
And my thing is, it's funny to me when you see those who were part of him saving him from himself. And as they talk about it, it was like, but y'all just sat back and was just like, okay, like y'all, and it wasn't even like, at first I was thinking, okay, maybe they were afraid. Maybe they had their career that they were thinking about or whatever. But
maybe they were like, ain't nobody gonna believe me because this is just too crazy. Because this kind of stuff don't happen in America. You know,
even their facial expression was like, yeah, this dude is like this dude is like,
but what's even more incredible is that there's so many people co-signing on this, right? So not only were there some folks that were like, what saving him from himself, but there were other people that was like, by some, I don't know, stretch or whatever they made sense out of what it is that he was doing. Like, yo, this is
crazy.
Like there has to be consequences for this. Like to me, it's like you can't let this. There's no way that They should be able to get away with what happened.
Listening
to you can't let that person think that was okay, and you definitely cannot put that person in a position where they can actually get that job again, because it will be a successful coup d'etat the next time.
Listening to the hearings wasn't shocking. I think what was disturbing and upsetting was the fact that this was going on. People were aware, and nobody felt the urge to be like, we need to stop this madness and we need to stop it.
No, they stopped it because it didn't happen. Like, if they didn't stop it, it would have actually happened. So they did kind of stop it, but it should have been made. It should have been made public.
If you listen to all the stuff that led up to, because apparently this was being planned for a long time. So,
well, I mean, they said at least like it started in like December or something like that. So they planned the actual event maybe for over the course of 3 to 4 weeks.
But the fact that this was going on and there were so many people involved in it, you understand what I'm saying? It's just like,
I understand.
That's the disturbing part for me. I'm not shocked by because that's just what he does. But that stuff, what you're listening to and how they put stuff into play, I was like, huh?
I gotta say, so I don't know, maybe shock's not the word, but I am shocked and amazed, astonished, whatever word you want to use, at how he always manages to find a new low. Just when you think it can't get like no worse, nah, he can't top that. No, this dude finds another way to top that, and that's why there's.
What you said? You said early on that he ain't got no bottom. That's what you said.
No bottom, and he's absolutely shameless. To be shameless and have no bottom, that is not a good combination of anything. And those are definitely not the character traits of a person that should be the leader of a country.
Let me tell you all, Sandra said the second year he was president, Sandra was like, this man ain't got no bottom. This was the second year he got no bottom,
and he's shameless.
This was the second year. When we were discussing it, this was the second year he was president. It was like in the middle of his second year, and she was like, he ain't got no bottom. He is shameless and has no bottom. Like, he's gonna keep going and going and going until somebody stops him, if that ever happens. And I'm telling you, son enough to you. It's just like it's the level of what he was doing. I mean, 45, just whatever, I guess.
They gotta be. I mean, there has to be consequences. Like, they at least gotta put this dude in a position where he cannot run for office again. Like listen.
At all.
At the very least, that needs to happen. There's no way that man's name should be on nobody's ballot for nothing.
So Tamiko typed in, what would you have done if you were in the room when the big yelling match happened?
First of all, I wouldn't have been in that room. Okay, because listen, by the time the yellow match happened, he should not have been able to get anybody to work for him, right? Like, the few people that came in the beginning that kind of didn't know, okay. But near the end of that administration, the people who made choices to go work for that dude, like, listen, that I wouldn't have been in that room when no yelling match happened, because I wouldn't have maybe I would have got sucked up in the beginning because I didn't know no better. But anybody that was there during them last days, they knew what they was getting into. For whatever reason made them decide to go on and think something good was going to come out of that. That's on them. But no, I would not have been in that room. So I can't tell you what I would have did, because I wouldn't have been there. Not at the end. He might have caught me up in the beginning like Omarosa, but once he put Omarosa out, ain't nowhere in the world I would work for that dude. He dragged that out.
I can't even find that commentator. She was for CNN. I can't remember.
Let me make one more comment. And I refuse to buy Omarosa's book, because I think she should have known better too, because she worked for him during The Apprentice. I was like, don't come out here telling us nothing that we already know. But like like I said, I might have got caught up in that first year, 6 months. And I think I'd have left after 2 days. But he was in office like a month. He did the Muslim ban and started talking about the wall.
Omarosa revoked her black card the minute she was in the group. The minute she was on that team, we were like, oh, no, ma'am.
And then she tried to get it back, talking about girl, ain't nobody trying to hear you.
Nobody trying. And your tears do not move us, sis. because you was in it.
And there was word on the street that that show The Apprentice had video of him referring to people as the N-word and doing all kind of other stuff. So she knew, and she went up in there. So
all day. So we do not give you her card was revoked. She can't get it back, just like Stacey Dash. Y'all can't get that back, sis. So y'all gonna you two huddle up somewhere and figure out how you gonna maneuver yourself to the diaspora, because
and Tamika said no one needs a tell-all book after these. And I won't buy none either.
Me neither.
If they do write a book after that, who cares? Because that's a little too late for me. I'm sorry.
Listen. We were sitting here dealing with bamboo in the paper. Okay,
bamboo in the paper.
That's
Arizona. Wasting time, months, money, all that.
We were dealing with the head of the free world saying that he was going to.
And I think he owes Wisconsin like $3 million because he made them do a recount and said, and they was like, well, no, there's no need for a recount. And he's like, and they was like, well, if we do the recount, you got to pay us $3 million. And they believed him and did the recount. And I'm sure he ain't paid them their $3 million yet. So
we'll find out if they got their $3 million. I'll go.
They ain't get 3 million cents, let alone $3 million.
But that's what we get. You get a head of state. You get a whole president of the free world telling people about putting bleach into your body, not listening to doctors. Let
the people through the mag with the guns because they ain't trying to kill him.
Said that they were very fine people. Okay,
Lord.
And I'm just saying, like, it's not shocking for those of us who knows what 45 is about. What we're hearing from the hearings is not shocking. I think what's disturbing.
It's just crazier than you thought.
It's crazier than you thought. And what's disturbing is that how all these people co-signed it, supported it, and didn't think anything was wrong until the very last minute. Like, oh, I don't think this is.
And even the ones that thought something was wrong, they was laying down on the couch with their phone saying that he gonna do what he gonna do.
Sending text messages. They sending text messages. She's like, oh no, I don't think.
They're like, yo, that man about to do that. They was like, well, once he gets something in his mind, you can't make him stop. And they on their phone.
And to me, that should be scary.
That's scary.
That should be scary to the people of America, because if it goes to show that these so-called checks and balances that are supposed to be in place to avoid or not or even stop something like that from happening,
they worked because it didn't happen, but it was bad. Like, because it didn't happen. Like, if it didn't happen, that meant that none of that worked. Well, it worked. Now, could we have done something sooner? Yes, but
what did happen was enough for me. I mean,
that's enough.
What happened January 6th was enough for me. That to me, if that was just a scratch of the surface, then that's enough for me. I don't even want to know how deep it was going to get. I'm just saying that was enough for me. A woman died. Okay,
a couple people died.
Police
officers.
The house that's supposed to be for everybody was destroyed. Well, not destroyed, but just extremely
desecrated. They put feces, urine, all kind of stuff. Like, man,
that was enough. That was enough for me. I don't know how far that was gonna go, but that was enough for me.
That was a lot.
My thing is that someone like that should not be allowed to run for office again. You should
never
be just on principle alone.
Never.
It shouldn't even be a legal precedent. This just on principle alone. You should not be able to run for office again. Period.
Never. And whatever they got to do to make that happen, they need to do that.
ASAP.
They need to do that. His name don't need to be on nobody's ballot. That's crazy. That is crazy. That's crazy talk. That's crazy talk.
You just need to pick one hearing. You ain't got to go in order. Pick just one. Pick any
one. They're all like,
it's all bad.
Jaw dropping.
It's all bad. And then those senators who are there, who are part of this commission, who are part of this investigation, who are doing it or whatever, their seats are threatened.
Yeah.
Right.
And anybody who's campaigning now that's allowing him to introduce them and they're aligning themselves with him, they should all lose. All of them. Because you don't listen. Because if they think any of that was okay, there's no way you should trust those people with any power. Not at all.
Not at all.
No.
In the chat, we're getting some links or whatever. I don't know what those links are, but somebody's dropping links.
Yeah, people will do it. Yeah, they'll predict their position, but listen, the rest, it's only one of them and a whole bunch of us, and we don't gotta let them make those. If that's what they're about, y'all don't need these jobs. No, ma'am.
The power is with the people, not the people in power.
Period. And that one person with a mindset like that, give them that power, they don't deserve it.
We give them, and I don't want to, I hate, one of the things that bothers me, it makes me cringe when I say we give them the power, because technically,
we're trusting them with the power and
to represent us, right? We're trusting them with this job to make sure that they do what's best for the greater good, right? Yeah. So for me, I hate saying it like that, but at the end of the day, the power is with the people. It's not with the people in power, because if there's no people to put them in power, there is no government. So at the end of the day, people need to understand that you don't vote. You vote what's supposed to be good for everyone. You don't vote because this person is basically doing rhetoric for a group of people, and because that group of people are all about it and whatever, and it would appear that there's more of them than us. No, it's not. People. Sometimes people don't know what's best for them. Sometimes, not all.
Save them from themselves, like they've been doing this crazy
like black women do every voting season. Black women do that every voting season. We save people from themselves. Okay. And I'm telling you, maybe I don't want to speak for Sandra, but I'm telling you, the weight is heavy.
It is heavy.
It's heavy. The weight is heavy, and there's so much we can do. And
we have an opportunity to put a lot of women in positions in the state of Florida. This election, Val Demings for the U.S. Senate to replace Marco Rubio. Nikki Fried or Charlie Crist, but Nikki Fried is a woman that's running for governor, trying to replace seeking to replace Ron DeSantis. We got Ayanna Aramis that's running for the Attorney General of Florida. She's running against I think what's her name? Ashley Moody or something like that. She need to go because she with the nonsense too. So we need to get Mr. Yala up there, Nikki Fried, Val Demings. We have an opportunity to do a lot of great things. Michelle Rayner out on the West Coast is running for a congressional seat. I think that's District 70. I don't know what it is, but she's out there in the West Coast in the Southeast, St. Pete area. We need to, Sheila's running for District 20. We need to send these folks back and make a difference. It's a lot of women
look at other
work.
Whoever, if you guys have friends and family in Georgia, Warnock is on the ballot.
Yeah, listen. Now, Georgia, y'all went blue. Keep up that energy, because there's no way y'all want to send Herschel Walker to the Senate. Like, you can't tell me y'all trying to do that. You didn't do all of this spectacular stuff in 2020 just to go send Herschel Walker to the Senate in 22. Please don't tell me y'all trying to do that.
Don't let that be a problem. Okay, and y'all better work on getting
it right, Georgia.
Get our governor, get the governor in Georgia.
And Stacey Abrams. And Stacey Abrams is running for governor. She needs to win too. I'm just saying, we need to look at other states, because there's a lot of senators that are up. There's some seats that there's a Charles Booker that's running against Rand Paul in I think Kentucky. That brother, Marcus Flowers is running against Marjorie Taylor Greene in Georgia. He's running against Marjorie Taylor Greene in Georgia. She ain't got no committee seats, so
she ain't got nothing.
Getting paid to do nothing
but a podcast with one of our representatives here in Florida, and they have a podcast talking garbage
with the sex offender.
The sex offender, yes.
Oh, okay.
They have a whole podcast, and all they're concerned about is why Stacey Abrams running, and she need to go have several seats, and why that's all she doing. So
Stacey Abrams will be the next governor of the state of Georgia.
Marcus Flowers
will keep his seat as a senator from the state of Georgia.
Listen, I'm just saying.
We're gonna get Val Demings. She's gonna be the U.S. Senate. From the state of Florida.
If you're not doing anything to make sure that the citizens of Florida are getting what they need, you don't get to keep your job. Your job is no longer safe. So Rubio, you got to go. Okay. DeSantis, you definitely have to move. Go on about your business, because you have affected a large portion.
Go run for president and lose every state, including yours. I want to see that. Lose every state, including yours, sir.
Because you that's all you do. You sitting there fighting.
I think it's only been like 2 or 3 presidents that's won like 49 out of 50 states. I think Reagan was one of that. He didn't get like Minnesota or something like that. So yeah, go ahead and run for office and lose every state, including yours, Mr.
And I hope when he does, when DeSantis decides that he is going to run for president, that he stick to his resign to run and move the hell on.
He gonna get his feelings hurt. He really is. He gonna get his feelings hurt.
I don't think he gonna get his feelings hurt.
He gonna get his feelings hurt real quick.
The fact that somebody whispered in his ear and told him that, hey, you know, number 45 upset with you because
he
momentum. That's all he needed to hear. And now he walking around here like a peacock.
I will be excited for that first debate. I don't know who the Republican is that's gonna run against him too, but he gonna get his feelings hurt. And I think Mitt Romney might, drop his hat in there. And I kind of like Mitt Romney, but then I found out he got $13 million from the NRA, so I don't like that part. So,
are you surprised that he got $13 million from the
NRA? I am, because he don't need it. He rich. He don't need no $13 million from the NRA.
$13 million from the NRA.
He don't need it.
He doesn't. I'm not surprised
he got that. He didn't need to do that.
That's why listen.
He was the governor of Massachusetts. That's why I'm like, man, you know better than that. What you doing, bro?
My thing is, I guess for me, I'm like, I can't put my trust in white men no more.
Oh Lord. Okay, so we going there. We ain't going there though. But yeah, so go ahead and let the Republicans be silly enough to make you the nominee, Ron DeSantis, and watch you lose all states, including your own.
You don't think he's gonna lose? Didn't I just tell you that somebody whispered in?
I don't know why he think most Floridians support him in the nonsense that he does.
And 45 is mad at
him.
He
isolated everybody except for the 1/3 of the folks that still think he makes sense. That ain't enough to win, homie.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I just don't believe. I truly believe the American people are not a glutton for punishment, and I truly believe that they're gonna be like, yeah, it's a hard no for me. A hard
no. He's not gonna be able to handle all of that whole United States stress. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to take stress from like one state.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have all the other ones, he gonna get that California smoke, that Oregon smoke, that that New York, that West. I mean, he ain't gonna get some of the Michigan. Nah, man.
I'm telling you,
he ain't gonna be able to deal with all them issues. He said, like, y'all got what kind of problems? Flint still got lead in the water.
Hey, what you gonna do about that?
Wait, what?
And the question becomes, is he debate ready?
He ain't, because he could barely handle Andrew Gillum. Okay, so yeah, bruh.
And you would think he's been governor all this time, that he's brushed up on his debate. The man can't even.
Because if he really knew how to good job, he wouldn't be focused on the nonsense he focuses on now, right? Like, if he was really ready for like this whole national stage, like he claims to be, he wouldn't be writing woke bills, HB 7, that talks about individuals and then talks about African Americans, like African Americans ain't individuals too, bro.
Yeah, that was last week when we were talking about the bills, honey.
Nah.
That's a hard no for me.
Yeah, that's a hard no. He gonna get his feelings hurt.
Listen, I'm telling you, it's like 45 all over again, but this one is just a little younger.
And they say he's a little smarter, but yeah, he ain't ready. And he's sensitive, and that ain't gonna work. He gonna get his feelings hurt.
Well, he's just like 45, but just a little, just younger.
A little smarter, but he gonna get his feelings hurt because he out here writing legislation talking about don't hurt people's feelings.
The sensitivity that I've seen. You remember when he walked into a press conference and yelling at the kids because they had their mask on?
Take their mask off, bro. You can't do that.
You can't do that.
Not every mama gonna let you touch their kid.
Child, that black boy in the background was like, I ain't taking off my mask. You're not gonna get me in no trouble.
You must not know my mama, dog.
He's like, you need to take off. You don't have to, but you should just take those things off. Dude, what are you talking about? And then right after that, we had an uptick. Sir, what are you talking about?
That's like a BA5 out in these streets, I heard.
Yes, I heard.
Like a BA.5 or something.
BA5 ain't no joke. It ain't no joke.
Yeah.
It ain't no joke. I'm just saying,
we don't have the people up enough. What you think?
All right. Well,
thank you, Guithele Ruiz-Nicolas. I've been saying your name backwards. I would say Guithele Nicholas Ruiz. My bad. So Guithele Ruiz-Nicolas. Yes. So vote Guithele. County Commission, Broward County Commission, seat
9.
All right.
9.
Same name on all social media platforms.
That's right. Make sure y'all keep
your money.
Make sure you last day for you to register to vote is July 25th. And the last day for you to do to request your mail-in ballot is 8/13. 8/13 is the first day of early voting. So listen, you got to show up.
It's important. This midterm is important. Vote like your life depends on it, because it does.
Every election is important. Midterms, general, every election is important. So jump in, get in where you fit in. Okay, get your families out there. Make it like a day.
There are some right decisions to be made.
Yes, like a day. There's going to be some referendums on the ballots. Some of it has to do with school board getting money. Some of it has to do with some other things. Make sure you read it and understand it. You can get your ballot early enough so you can look through it and understand what you're voting for. Listen, this is extremely important. I don't know how much I stressed it, but please do your civic duty and vote. Vote like your life depends on it. Co-host just said, because it does.
It really, really, really does.
All right, y'all. We'll see y'all next time.
Next week.
Y'all be good. Continue to wear your mask. Please protect yourselves. Kind to one another, because we need that. You know, with people out here just acting all kinds of crazy. But be nice. All right. See y'all.
Bye-bye.